Hello everyone, welcome back to Psychology Hub. If this is your first time here, I'm Alex, and I'm thrilled to have you join us. Today, we're exploring a fascinating and deeply significant topic: how the experiences of our early years influence the relationships we form as adults. We'll specifically focus on attachment theory, a concept that sheds light on how our childhood shapes connections with friends, romantic partners, and even colleagues. So grab a cozy spot and let's dive right in. To begin, let's unpack the fundamentals. Attachment theory was pioneered by John Bowlby, a British psychologist, in the 1950s. Its premise is both straightforward and impactful. The type of bond you establish with your primary caregiver during your early years lays the foundation for how you interact with others throughout your life. This early connection impacts your sense of security in relationships, your approach to intimacy and conflict, and the way you perceive trust as an adult. There are 4 main attachment styles, each representing a unique way of relating to others. Secure attachment. Children with secure attachments feel confident exploring the world because they trust that their caregiver will provide support when needed. As adults, these individuals often enjoy balanced, fulfilling relationships. They're comfortable with closeness and trusting others. Anxious attachment. Those with an anxious attachment style often feel unsure or insecure in relationships. They may yearn for closeness, but fear abandonment, leading to behaviors like overthinking or clinging. Avoidant attachment. People with avoidant attachment highly value independence, sometimes to the extent of distancing themselves emotionally. They often feel uneasy with intimacy and may keep others at arm's length. Disorganized attachment. This style combines both anxious and avoidant traits. It often stems from inconsistent or even frightening caregiving during childhood. As adults, individuals with this style may struggle with trust and intimacy, leading to unpredictable relationship patterns. Now let's see how these attachment styles manifest in our friendships. The way we relate to friends can mirror the attachment patterns we developed early on. If you had a secure attachment as a child, chances are your friendships as an adult are stable and trusting. You're likely open in communication, comfortable with vulnerability, and able to give your friends space without feeling threatened. For those with an anxious attachment, friendships can sometimes feel more fragile. You may find yourself depending heavily on friends for reassurance or worrying excessively about the state of the relationship, even without cause. This could lead to clingy behavior or difficulty respecting boundaries. People with avoidant attachment may keep friendships at a certain emotional distance. You might avoid deep conversations or feel uneasy when friends attempt to get too close. Reliance on others, or allowing them to rely on you, can also be challenging. Disorganized attachment can turn friendships into an emotional roller coaster. You might alternate between pushing people away and pulling them back in, feeling unsure about how to act in social situations. This unpredictability can create tension in relationships. When it comes to romantic relationships, attachment styles play an even more prominent role. Think about your approach to love and intimacy. Do you embrace vulnerability, or do you build walls? Do you rush into relationships, or do you keep others at bay? These patterns often trace back to your childhood bonds. With a secure attachment style, romantic relationships are generally healthy and well-balanced. You trust your partner, communicate effectively, and feel comfortable with both closeness and independence. For those with an anxious attachment, romantic relationships can feel intense and emotionally taxing. You might constantly seek reassurance, fear abandonment, or become overwhelmed by the need for validation. Avoidant attachment often leads to a focus on independence. You might shy away from emotional depth, avoid long-term commitments, or struggle with opening up to your partner. Disorganized attachment creates a mix of conflicting behaviors. One moment, you might resist intimacy. The next, you may desperately crave it. This inconsistency can make relationships chaotic and difficult to sustain. Attachment theory doesn't stop at our personal lives. It also extends into our professional relationships. How you interact with colleagues, bosses, or clients can mirror the attachment patterns you developed in childhood. Securely attached individuals tend to be confident team players. They're comfortable asking for or offering help, and they handle feedback constructively. With an anxious attachment style, you might grapple with insecurity at work, constantly seeking approval or worrying about your performance. Criticism can feel particularly overwhelming. Avoidant attachment may result in a preference for working independently. You might avoid team collaborations, hesitate to ask for help, or seem detached from group dynamics. For those with disorganized attachment, workplace relationships can be unpredictable. You might overcommit one day and withdraw the next, leading to confusion among colleagues. If any of this resonates with you, don't worry. Attachment styles are not set in stone. With self-awareness and effort, you can reshape your patterns and build healthier relationships. Start with self-awareness. Understanding your attachment style allows you to identify how it impacts your behavior and connections. Therapy can be incredibly helpful. A skilled therapist can guide you in addressing past wounds and developing healthier relational habits. Practice open communication. Sharing your needs, boundaries, and fears honestly can transform your relationships. Finally, be patient with yourself. Change takes time, but with consistent effort, you can nurture more secure and trusting bonds. Thank you so much for joining me today. If this discussion shed light on how childhood influences adult relationships, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might find it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe for more insightful videos like this. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. How have your early experiences shaped your relationships? Take care, and I'll catch you in the next video.